Gentlemen, in our most recent 12 News Roger Williams University poll, a majority of voters cited the cost of living as the #1 issue going into the election. Mr. Magaziner, most economists agree that the $1.9 trillion rescue plan, which included direct checks to residents, played a role in fueling the inflation we're experiencing right now. Bloomberg News reported this week that a recession is, quote, effectively certain in the next 12 months. Were the federal relief packages championed by your party too generous, and Americans are now paying the price?
Well, thank you, Tim and Ted and Channel 12 for hosting us tonight, and thank you to everyone who is watching for caring about our country. When I talk to Rhode Islanders across the district, people are frustrated. They are working hard, but their incomes are not keeping up with their bills. And there are a lot of reasons for it. Certainly, what's going on in Russia and Ukraine is a factor. The fast recovery from COVID is a factor. But another big factor that people aren't talking about enough is price gouging by the big oil companies. The first 9 months of this year alone, the 5 big oil producers made over $150 billion in profits, not revenues, profits, at a time when Rhode Islanders were paying $4 or $5 a gallon for gas. That is unconscionable. So what I will do in Congress is support legislation that would require the big oil companies to put some of their profits back into consumers' pockets in the form of rebates. We have to go after price gouging, and it's not just in the oil industry. The prescription drug industry is another one. Overcharging Rhode Islanders, it's killing people. We need to be tough on the prescription drug companies. And there's a clear contrast between me and Alan Fung on this, which is that I will be tough on those companies, he won't. You know how? I know that. It's because those same industries are funding his campaign. Alan is a former lobbyist for the insurance industry. He has been accepting tons of money from the oil industry, the drug industry, the insurance industry. You see those stupid negative ads that they're running against me? Look up who's funding them. It's all public record.
I obviously have to let Mr. Fung respond to that, but one thing I didn't hear from you, Mr. Magaziner, is you rattled off a couple of things that are affecting inflation. You didn't cite the thing that I asked in the question, which is the Rescue Plan Act that dumped $1.9 trillion into the economy. Do you acknowledge that that played a role?
Look, I don't think that supporting working people who are struggling to keep up the cost of living is a bad thing to do. I think helping people by raising the minimum wage, by making sure that people can afford child care is a good thing for Congress to do. And listen, there are a lot of things that we can do in Congress that would have bipartisan support to lower the cost of living. Right? We can expand domestic energy production. We can bring more manufacturing jobs back home. I have been for suspending the federal gas tax so that people can get some relief at the gas pump. But we have to also be tough on these big industries, the oil industry, the insurance industry, the prescription drug industry, that are price gouging people.
All right, Mr. Fung, he says you would not stand up to the oil industry. He says you wouldn't stand up to big pharma. What do you say?
Well, absolutely. I'm going to be a voice for Rhode Islanders. That's why I'm running. Because clearly you see the difference between myself and Mr. Magaziner. First of all, those negative ads that he's talking about, that he himself, not even super PACs, he himself are outright lying about a lot of my positions, because I am focused upon the #1 issue that's on the people's minds right now. Addressing your question, this cost of living crisis and what fueled it. ARPA and that overspending by this president. The fact that he's heated up the economy, where you have economists on both sides of the aisle, including Larry Summers, who was, the economist for former President Obama, is saying that all of this spending has really driven to the point where so much dollars into the economy, it's ratcheting up to 40-year record high inflation. And he's doubling down and supporting these same economic policies that our failed president, as well as Speaker Nancy Pelosi, have been forcing onto this economy that's costing us at the gas pumps, at the grocery stores. First and foremost, we have to make sure we get this spending under control, and that's why I'm running. This economy has to drive back down some of that outrageous spending, coming from Washington, D.C. We have to become energy independent once again and ensure that we're not relying upon unstable economies and regimes across the globe for our oil and gas.
But pivoting back to ARPA, Mr. Fung, let's be clear in what you just said there. The Rescue Plan Act passed in the House by just a handful of the votes. One of those yes votes was Congressman Langevin. So are you saying that if you were in that seat at the time, you would have voted no?
It would have been too much money. Here's why, Tim. Because everyone forgets that that was the second tranche of dollars to help. I'm not saying that we didn't need some dollars to help get our economy
Didn't
back
that
on
second
track.
tranche include $43 million for Cranston?
Can I finish, please? The first tranche, if you remember, was the CARES Act dollars. Remember they had to claw back some of those dollars from CARES to help, pay for ARPA 2? When you have that much money into the economy and you're doubling down and providing more, you are providing way too much money. And when we're talking about not just Cranston, but every city and town, including the dollars into the state of Rhode Island, that much money where you have 4 to 5 years to spend it and nothing targeted. I'm about targeted strategic spending to invest in our economy, in our infrastructure, so that we need to fix the, add dollars to the Quonset port, add dollars to, help Galilee so that we're aiding the industries there. Strategic dollars is what I'm about, instead of just throwing dollars out into the economy that's heating it up, that economists on both sides of the aisle say is contributing to these 40-year record highs.
I'm going to give you each 30 seconds to close this topic out. Mr. Magaziner.
Well, listen, there's a clear difference here, right? So Allen supported the Trump tax cuts that put trillions of dollars into the hands of millionaires and billionaires. If you think there's too much money in the system, that's where there's too much money in the system. He opposed measures to help working people get ahead, including the Inflation Reduction Act, which lowers the cost of prescription drugs, especially for seniors, makes historic investments in expanding domestic energy to get us off of foreign oil.
10 seconds.
These are things that will lower the cost of living for working people. Allen and the Republicans, time and time again, side with the big industries and with the billionaires and millionaires. If there's too much money in the system, it's because they're giving the money to them instead of to working people.
Mr. Fung, 30 seconds.
Just like President Biden, his hero, and who wants to serve as president again, he's out of touch with the realities. Mr. Magaziner supported the TCI tax through added additional new taxes on gas as well as home heating oil, to support his Green New Deal that he wants here in Rhode Island. He's also supporting that Inflation Reduction Act that's introduces billions in new taxes during one of the worst economies we faced in 40-plus years. We can't afford, Mr. Magaziner. We need to cut spending, become energy independent, drive these prices down, and that's what I'm about, focusing on the economy.
Thank you, Mr. Fung.